How would the overturning of Roe v. Wade make data privacy laws egregious matters of life and death?
Yeah, so that's a that's interesting because I've like my life as a woman, I've always lived in New York and California, so I've been in kind of states that have um, rights for women in that area. Um, Touching on kind of what the privacy implications here are is that the belief is that private like right to your body, like right to what you can do with your body from a medical perspective is really kind of a fundamental human right. And like being able to I'll use kind of something like another example just as an analogy. Like let's say you're like you're working on your will and you're thinking about, oh, if something happens to me and I get in a really bad car crash and I'm in a coma and they can't do anything and I'm just lying there on life support. When you work on your will in the US, they say, do you want to, or you go into surgery, do you want to be a DNR, do not resuscitate? Because kind of the quality of life for that person could not be there, and that's why now it's written to things like wills, or, if you're going in for a major surgery in the US. So like that person who's going in can make that decision and their family member doesn't have to make that decision if something terrible happens. So that's, use that as an analogy and like, yeah, like your body, what you do with your body, whether you have a medical procedure or not, is like a fundamental kind of right to privacy. Um, so, I think with that, like, I mean, the overturning of Roe versus Wade, there's different political opinions in the US. Some people believe that like once a baby has been, someone could be impregnated with a child, that like that baby is life. But then there are like serious medical issues around, you know, especially as people in the US have children older, like in their late 30s and 40s, there's more chances for miscarriages and genetic diseases, where, you could be pregnant and the baby could not be viable. And then you know, there's situations like there's trisomy, like there's certain genetic disorders where the baby could not be viable. And it's really better to protect the mother to, have that abortion versus the baby continuing to live. So I mean, hopefully, the science, the world of medicine and science and protecting individuals and the right to privacy and people to make that decision will be, figured out. And it is, I do think, it is part of life and death in a way that people, should be able to decide what to do with their bodies in those, in certain situations.
As a foreigner, I can only imagine how difficult it must be for you to speak on such a sensitive matter. So I really appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Yeah, of course. And I mean, I feel lucky to live in a state in California where, I know that women's rights are protected.